From News 3 Now, this is breaking news.
And welcome to News 3 Now at 5. We are currently following two breaking news stories.
In Janesville, officers have confirmed 3 people are dead, 1 critically injured after a shooting. And another story, a hazmat situation in Madison, continues to unfold. We're bringing you team coverage tonight, first from Janesville with our Kyle Pozorski, who attended a press conference just a short time ago.
And Maddie Heimsch is live at the scene with the very latest, also getting reaction from neighbors there.
Let's begin tonight with Kyle. Kyle, what did we learn from Janesville police about what happened earlier today?
Yeah, well, at that press conference, like you indicated, really a tragic event taking place today. 3 people were found dead at the Aspen Square Apartments in Janesville, and a 4th is now in critical condition. Now, this after police were initially called for a family dispute turned emergency situation. Now, authorities really couldn't go into full details about what happened there or what they believe happened, as this is now an open investigation. However, we did manage to get some details about what this was not. Let's take a listen to that.
This particular event is not politically motivated.
There were no children in the apartment when this incident occurred.
So was this drug related in any way?
Chief Pearson? No.
Now again, 3 dead, 1 injured. There is no threat believed to be, or threat, let's confirm this, there is no threat to the public at this time. Again, those details given at the press conference earlier this afternoon here at the Janesville Fire Department. We're going to go live to Maddie Heimsch, who is back at the scene tonight with details and reaction from some neighbors in the area. Maddie?
Kyle, like you said, here on the scene at the Aspen Square Apartments in Janesville, where most recently we just saw a medical examiner vehicle leave the parking lot of the apartment complex here behind me. But we've been on scene all day, and we've really seen throughout the last few hours neighbors, family members, and even just community members who heard about the incident come by and really express their shock that something like this would happen in this neighborhood. And I spoke to one neighbor about the heavy police presence she saw out her window this morning, and I asked her if she's seen anything like this before. Here's what she said.
Only one other time, and that was for a car accident, and that was probably 5 years ago. I don't know. It's very quiet around here. I've been here over 10 years, and nothing has ever happened like this before.
Like she said, a very quiet neighborhood. She also told us lots of kids and families live in the area, and up until this point, it's been a very safe place for them. Now, the scene has obviously significantly cleared since the heavy police presence we saw earlier today. For now, I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio. Reporting live in Janesville, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Maddie, thank you, and our thanks to Kyle Pozorski as well. Now to an update on a hazmat investigation in Madison on North Spooner Street and Van Hise Avenue, just west of Camp Randall Stadium and just 4 miles from yesterday's hazmat investigation.
That's right, and police believe these two situations are linked. The owner of the home on Spooner and Van Hise, we understand, is now jailed. Let's go to Ellie La Liberté, who's at the scene with the very latest on what happened here.
Yeah, hey guys, the scene has now cleared, so we're able to give you a better look at this house. I'll take a step out of the way so you can see the bags still on the front steps, the police tape over that moving pod in the driveway there. As you said, the owner now facing charges of stalking and homicide. Now, we were actually blocked off earlier. This entire street was blocked off. We were moved from the original perimeter to about a block away so that crews could perform what they were calling emergency decontamination. That's essentially hosing people down because of what they call an abundance of caution. Now, we've been here since about 1 p.m. today and have seen crews leaving and coming throughout the day. This house, of course, still surrounded by police tape. Although we have not seen officials take anything out of the house, we don't quite know yet what they're looking for. Now, I spoke to a neighbor who lives just across the street. He says his roommate couldn't get to work today just because of how active the scene was.
Everything was taped off. Up to our house over here, it was taped off for like the neighborhood, so they couldn't go up. So we have a porch that overlooks it, so we were able to kind of watch on with what was happening. But nothing, it doesn't seem like anything really crazy happened other than the fact that it was just very much out of the ordinary.
Now, this is a multi-jurisdictional investigation. That means the Wisconsin Department of Justice is working with Madison Fire and the police department, as well as the Middleton Police Department. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more, but for now, I'll send it back to you guys. Reporting live in Madison, Ellie La Liberté, News 3 Now.
All right, Ellie, thank you. Now for a look at your first warn forecast. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington joining us live on a warm one from the weather patio, Alex.
Definitely a warm one. Temperatures in the 80s out here. We got a good, decent amount of humidity. I'm sweating, so summer-like, and summer's right around the corner, and we have storm chances also in our near future as well. And look at how warm our temperatures are. Well, first, rather, on radar 3000, are we seeing any thunderstorms out there right now with the warm conditions, with the humid conditions? Nothing yet, but that very well likely is going to change as we move forward here, going through the next couple hours as we use Future Track. We have a little front hanging out right along the Wisconsin-Illinois border that could bring some shower and thunderstorm chances during the evening hours going into the early part of the overnight hours, and it's eyeing up areas finally for once that really need the shower and thunderstorm activity. Good news is the severe weather threat is not very high as it looks like right now. Temperatures staying in the 80s, dipping down into the 70s. It's going to be a sticky night tonight with that shower chance in Madison, but better chances towards the Wisconsin-Illinois border. But coming up, though, in Maine weather, we got to spend time on Alert Day Wednesday. Heavy rain and strong storms expected. Where that heavy rain sets up, and the latest, as I was going to mention, on hot and humid conditions. How high will the mercury go? I'll let you know in a few minutes.
All right, Alex, thank you. The legislature's powerful budget writing committee met again today to continue approving budgets for Wisconsin state agencies. But the budget for the university system, slated to be debated today, got pushed back to a later date, likely due to disagreements within the Republican Party. But lawmakers did approve the budget for Wisconsin's district attorneys, including adding prosecutor positions in Dane, Grant, and Crawford counties.
We are making significant investments in ADA positions, 42 new ADA positions. It's going to take us to 80% of the staffing that's required in the staffing study that the DAs have done. And that's going to do a lot to help fight crime and make our communities safer, and that's certainly been a top priority for both of our caucuses.
The committee also approved the budget for the state's prison system. Well, those on the front lines who keep us safe in emergencies say they are reaching a crisis point in Wisconsin.
That's right. EMS workers say due to lower volunteer numbers, higher call volume, and increased medical costs, they need something to change. Armand Rahman reports.
That is their fourth call today. Really? And it's noon.
Petrona EMS hit 5,100 calls last year for the 3 ambulances that cover Fitchburg and the city and town of Verona. They're on track to hit 5,900 calls 6 months into this year.
It's about 25 to 30 times a month where all of our ambulances out. And then we're at that 45 times a year. So it's about 3 to 4 times a month where somebody else has to come in and cover our territory, because we have no more ambulances.
Other smaller rural EMS agencies are facing that without the staff to keep up.
The state that we're currently in is not the best.
EMS chiefs are hoping 3 assembly bills currently in the legislature could address that. One would allow an exemption to the municipal tax levy limit for any costs associated with regional EMS services.
Right now we have the municipality alone, that city alone, funding 100% of their EMS. And any increases in EMS would have to be funded by that tax levy limit.
Another would require Wisconsin's technical college system to provide grants for EMS courses. And the third would raise the maximum reimbursement services can get for Medicare and Medicaid.
Increasing that Medicaid reimbursement is going to be huge for us. Our Medicaid reimbursement on that $1,500 bill is about $100. The rest of it is written off.
Belleville EMS covers 5 municipalities. Chief Chris Backus says while they're fully staffed right now, that could change soon.
Sharing the staffing models and staffing personnel too. If we can kind of open up our borders per se and help our neighbors down in Brooklyn staff, or help our neighbors down in New Glarus or Monroe.
Both chiefs say without help like these bills,
the funding's going to have to come from somewhere, or you're going to wait longer for an ambulance.
Reporting in Verona and Belleville, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Armand, thank you. And according to the Wisconsin Policy Forum and the Wisconsin Office of Rural Health, 41% of EMS agencies statewide reported they had parts of their schedule where they did not have adequate staffing to respond to a request for an ambulance.
A chilling hit list tied to the deadly Minnesota shootings included Congressman Mark Pocan of Madison and also Congresswoman Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. Authorities say the suspect, Vance Belter, posed as a police officer before killing former Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman, her husband, and injured 2 others. Federal documents reveal Belter had dozens of Democratic officials on his list, including Representatives Pocan and Omar and Wisconsin U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin, raising alarms over politically motivated violence. Security briefings are now underway in Congress as lawmakers demand stronger protections.
In a unanimous decision, the Wisconsin Supreme Court struck down part of a 2018 Republican-backed law that limited the power of the state attorney general. The court ruled it's unconstitutional to require legislative approval for certain lawsuit settlements, calling it a violation of the separation of powers. The law was passed in 2018 during a lame duck session after Democratic wins in statewide races. Attorney General Josh Kaul brought the challenge, arguing it limited his office's authority. The ruling rolls back one part of the broader package of laws passed at that time. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington's back next. A complete look at your first warn forecast.
And Republicans have been trying to get Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson on board with the president's spending bill. Has anything changed? We'll find out next.
Stocks with a Tuesday retreat on Wall Street. The Dow Jones falls 299 points. The Nasdaq loses 180. S&P 500 down 50. And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson says he will vote no on the Senate's latest bill advancing the president's tax, border, and defense priorities. Senator Johnson says the proposal doesn't do enough to reduce the federal deficit, which is projected to top $2.2 trillion annually under this bill. He joins Senator Rand Paul in opposing the bill, which would raise the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. With only a slim GOP majority, the bill's fate now hangs in the balance.
In Milwaukee, authorities have made an arrest in the vandalism of a Jewish temple. The Milwaukee Jewish Federation says the temple menorah building was vandalized on Sunday. Police say the 59-year-old suspect intentionally broke several windows and a statue. Authorities believe he acted alone and that there is no further threat to the community.
Live look right now at Green Bay. We're just a few blocks from this camera shot coming up right here. The Port of Green Bay is reporting a 53% decline. There's the shot we're looking for. 53% decline in cargo compared to last year into the Port of Green Bay. The cargo tonnage drop followed a 64% drop from March to April compared to 2024. Now, key commodities like coal, salt, and petroleum all have slumped, with coal down by half. Port officials blame the drop on lower demand and also delayed shipments from last year's inventories. A warm Tuesday out there. Temps in the mid-80s as we take a full look at your first warn forecast. Here is Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington. Alex?
Yes, we got even warmer temperatures on the way. Get this, Eric and Susan. Look at this. 90s as we head towards the weekend. Summer starts on June 20th, and well, we're just going to go right into summer and not going into it slowly either. We're going to go into it 200%. The heat index values are going to be even hotter as we go into the weekend. It's part of the 3 things you got to get out of the forecast. Couple storms tonight. We're going to break down our alert day Wednesday in just a moment, and then the hot and humid conditions coming up this weekend and how warm the feels like factor is going to be. Radar 3000, nothing out there right now. Maybe a lone shower out towards Prairie du Chien. This will light up a little bit as we go into the evening and the overnight hours. We got a stalled boundary, stalled front right along the Wisconsin-Illinois border. A couple of thunderstorms popping up along that boundary as we go towards 8, 9 o'clock. These are expected to be pulse-like, meaning they pulse up briefly, some heavy rain, some gusty winds, and then they pulse down. And then other showers and thunderstorms pulse up around those thunderstorms. The good part of this is that we can get some water in communities that absolutely need that water, and that's Janesville over towards Elkhorn, Darlington over towards Platteville. Then we turn our attention as those showers and thunderstorms in the evening dwindle down a bit to our alert day Wednesday, which we've been talking about for days now here. Heavy rain, strong storms. All of southern Wisconsin stands the chance for heavy rain. The better chance for the strong storms are going to be towards the south and east, down towards the Janesville area. And let's watch that here as we go with Future Track. Showers and thunderstorms breaking out in the morning when you tune in and join Savannah. These showers and thunderstorms not expected to be severe, but heavy rainfall, a distinct possibility. As we go into the afternoon, widespread rain, widespread showers and thunderstorms. This This low pressure goes right over the top of us in areas Monroe to Janesville over towards Elkhorn. I think you stand the best chance. If we do get a strong thunderstorm on Wednesday, you have the better chances. And then as we go towards 10 o'clock that Wednesday night, things will settle down. Good widespread 1 to 2 inches, maybe an isolated 3-inch amount. Optimistic right now along the Wisconsin-Illinois border. I keep calling you folks out because as we've been talking about for days and weeks, you've been dealing with this moderate drought conditions. We've had folks emailing us saying, Alex, give us some water chances. Here's some water chances, and I have more for you in the forecast. Couple strong storms, gusty winds, hail would be the main threat. We can't rule out a brief tornado tomorrow afternoon. I think that's very, very low. That would be confined to areas very close to the Wisconsin-Illinois border. Summer on June 20th on Friday, and then temperatures in the 90s. Look at the lows in the 70s as we head towards the weekend. Some places may struggle to dip below 80. We could be looking at heat index values in the dangerous category. Before I show you those, good chances for water for southern Wisconsin Tuesday through Friday of next week. So we get this hot period ahead, and then we have water chances, which will help us with temperatures in the 90s and heat index values near 100 degrees as we move forward in the next couple days. The First Warn Weather Team will be giving you some tips to prepare for this hot period ahead with dangerous, almost dangerous readings with our heat index values as we get to the weekend. More in the coming days on that hot stuff heading in our direction.
All right, Alex, thank you. The Milwaukee Brewers are starting a big 3-game series against their arch rival and division-leading Chicago Cubs tonight. You can watch it live on Television Wisconsin. Right now, the Crew sits 5.5 games behind the Cubs in second place. Chad Patrick will take the mound for Milwaukee. Ben Brown gets the start for the Cubs. The two teams last met in May in Milwaukee, with the Cubs winning 2 of the 3 games. Tonight's game is set to start at 7:05 on Television Wisconsin. That's channel 3.2.
And next at 5, a News 3 Now follow-up on Pepper the dog, the Fitchburg pet that needed an emergency life-saving surgery. We'll have an update after a short break.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5, moving forward.
Well, for many of us, of course, you're certainly this way with
Yeah.
Tate. Our pets are part of our family. And that sentiment never felt more real than a story you may recall we've been following for a couple weeks about a Fitchburg dog named Pepper.
That's right. News 3 Now's Jalen Banks caught up with Pepper, a 3-year-old pup, and her family on that surgery and the recovery.
A week ago, I brought you the story of a team of vets that teamed up with the human urologist to save the life of a local dog named Pepper. Now I get to catch up with Pepper and her family on her recovery. Meet Pepper, a 3-year-old lab mix who lives with her loving owners, Davis and Maddie, along with her brother, Porter, in Fitchburg. Pepper joined this family of 3 and made them a foursome about 3 years ago. And for a while, things were happy and normal. But about a year ago, Pepper started having some health complications.
In April, she got so much worse, and she was like very ill.
Noticed she wasn't peeing.
Yeah.
She was trying to pee, but she wasn't peeing. And that's when we kind of knew something was definitely up.
It was later they discovered she had a fungal infection in her kidneys. And to the family's delight, a human urologist and a team of veterinarians teamed up to save Pepper. And for Davis, Maddie, and Porter, they're all grateful.
Or we had just found out that the fungal infection that Pepper had was kind of causing all of this that we didn't have any answers to the past, 6 months or so.
It truly moved us in ways that we can't really describe even to this day. Like, we had no idea the level of which they would go to save her.
Davis and Maddie say Pepper will have to continue to manage her infection, but they, along with the doctors, say she's made huge strides in her recovery. For now, reporting in Fitchburg with Pepper, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
And Pepper's owners want to thank the entire team for their help with Pepper.
Good girl, Pepper. We'll be right back with a final check of your First Warn forecast.
Call for the unconditional surrender of Iran as the threat grows of a wider war in the Middle East.
And tonic for the soul. Mark Strassman reports from Charleston, South Carolina, on how the survivors of a hate crime offered grace in return. That's our Eye on America tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And coming up in 30 minutes on News 3 Now, we continue to follow breaking news out of both Janesville and also here in Madison. The latest details we're getting from each scene as they emerge. Join us top of the hour on News 3 Now at 6.
And finally, tonight at 5, Quick Trip is in the news. How about this? 2 days in a row. The company was just named, Quick Trip was named the best gas station brand in America. And also, they got the crown for having the best gas station food. Congratulations, Quick Trip. The company sources all of its milk, by the way, within 100 miles of its headquarters in La Crosse. And it recently ran a $1.99 milk promotion using 100,000 gallons a day. Quick Trip says these awards are very nice, but they would not be possible without Wisconsin agriculture.
And just yesterday, celebrated their 60th birthday as well. Congrats to all the folks at Quick Trip. Final check of the forecast with Alex.
Warm, humid, showers, thunderstorms.
It's a bad hair day.
Bad hair, yes, it is. Extra hairspray for today.
Right.
But areas that need that rain, Wisconsin-Illinois border, there are some good chances in the forecast. Not right now on radar 3000, doesn't look like a whole lot. But look at as we go into the later evening hours, some showers and thunderstorms popping up along a stationary boundary near the Wisconsin-Illinois border. Not expecting widespread severe weather. Heavy rainfall, certainly not out of the question. But Wednesday, rain, a couple strong thunderstorms, especially for areas near the Wisconsin-Illinois border, could possibly help put a good dent in drought conditions to our south. 90s by the weekend.
Wow. All right, CBS Evening News is coming your way next. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 5.
We hope to see you back here tonight at 6. You can catch us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. Have a good night, everybody.